Figures. How enduring are these splits, and how much harder, if at all, do they make progress on the president's agenda? Jeff Bush is a partner at the Washington Update. Jeff, welcome. Good to have you with us. You know, it is easy on a day like this to say things like the president has lost business or his presidency is collapsing. But my question for you is whether the country and businesses beyond Manhattan, beyond the Beltway, and beyond the Fortune 500 see it this way. What do you think?
Well, I think that's great insight, and certainly there have been a lot of challenges with the president over the last several weeks. And I think once you get outside those Fortune 500 companies, I think there's still an appreciation for the long-term agenda of the Republican Party of lower taxation and lower regulation. And that's why I think there's going to be, while a disconnect here in the interim, I think in the long run, businesses will still support the Republican agenda.
So do you think that the president will be able to push that agenda through with Republicans on the Hill?
Well, the Republicans ran on the same platform as Donald Trump of lower regulation, lower taxation, and so forth. And so they know they'll be judged on that in the midterm 2018 elections. Therefore, they've got to get something going or they'll have to answer to the voters next November.
Does getting those things done, those agenda items, those platform items done, become how much more difficult do they become if the president becomes in some ways an untouchable or a pariah to some views?
Well, the president hasn't been overly hands-on with the legislative agenda thus far, so I'm not sure this changes that dynamic tremendously. The legislation starts within the legislative branch, and I think that will continue given the current agenda of the Republicans. I think the one exception to that would be the Affordable Care Act repeal and replace effort. The president and his administration wanted to put an additional effort on that here in September. I think that's where we could see a little diminished gravitas around the Hill and so forth in trying to push that Affordable Care Act repeal agenda.
Jeff, are you surprised that we haven't seen more volatility in the market because of the headlines that have been coming out? Certainly we did see a little bit of a sell-off in the stock market, but then it came back. What's your read on that?
Well, interestingly, we have said since January of this year to anticipate an increase in volatility in the months of September and early October as it relates to the debt ceiling and the budget issue. The budget issue is the real issue. I think all these current ancillary things, including North Korea and the discussion, the press conference Donald Trump held earlier this week, those things amplify the increased volatility that we anticipate around those fiscal dialogues later this month.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Jeff Bush with the Washington Update tonight in Tulsa.
Thank you.